Well, hello, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing an oil change on my Porsche 997. All right, so the Porsche 997, I think it's every 10,000 miles or something, but otherwise the oil light indicator will come on. It'll say service, it'll say, I'll link it, I'll put a picture of it, or something like service required or something like that. And it comes up every 2 years, regardless of how many miles you put on the vehicle. So now it's probably, I don't think I've reached the mileage because I don't put too many miles in the car, but it's been 2 years since I did the last oil change. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link also up top where I did an oil change with my daughter about 2 years ago. And that's a pretty thorough process of doing the whole thing. So if you want to look at that, that's fine. It's a pretty good video. It's a fun video. And today it's just pretty much basics. All right, so this is all you're gonna need for the oil change. You're gonna need 8mm hex bit. So that's for the drain plug. You're gonna need a 36mm socket for the oil filter. You're gonna need, I just buy a pack of these. These are the drain plug crush sleeves or whatever they're called. So you're gonna, aluminum washers. Gasket washers, crushed aluminum gasket washers. So I would just buy a bunch of them, and then you're gonna need an oil filter. This is what I got from. They had some kind of special. I usually just use the Porsche OEM, but this was, one of those specials where you buy the oil and you get a filter. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And then you're going to need 2 of these because you need 7.9. You're not going to use all of it. This is what was left over from the last one, I think. So you're going to need 7.9 quarts. And each one of these is 5 quarts. So, sorry. 0W40, Mobile 1. And you're going to need, obviously, a jack. And you're going to need a catch pan for the oil. And you're gonna need also a reset tool for the computer because there's no way to reset it other than using one of these OBD2 scanners or programmers. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jack the car up on one side. This will allow me to get to the drain plug a little easier and put the drain pan underneath the oil pan. So that way I can go ahead, loosen that up. With that loosened and the oil draining, I can set the car back down so it's level so that it'll drain for about an hour. All right, so we're at the rear of the vehicle. If you go underneath, this is your oil pan, and that'll be your drain plug right there. So that's what you're gonna need this hex bit for, and that'll go in there. And that way you can go ahead and you can loosen that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. We're just gonna let that drain out for about an hour. I'm gonna lower the vehicle so that it's level. And then that washer on there, we're gonna replace an aluminum washer. We're gonna replace with a new one. All right, so we're in the engine compartment. The oil is draining. We're gonna open this up also, just so that it'll get rid of that vacuum so that the oil can drain a lot faster. So you just need a 36mm socket. Put that on there. The old filter. Rag here so you don't end up leaking stuff onto your car, onto the rest of the engine. That was a Mahle filter. Pretty dirty. Now for the new filter, you're gonna have to replace this O-ring, and you're gonna grease it up. That's where it's at. It's not all the way on top of this plastic. It goes right up to that edge. All right, so I'm just cleaning this up a little bit. In case there's any dirt or anything in there. We're gonna take some, I already took some of the oil, I put, some of the new oil. I've just oiled this whole thing here. We're gonna put this back on. Right onto the bottom ring. That's it, it's seated here. And I'll go ahead and I'll clean this up later. But I'm gonna leave this off for now until until the oil drains. Usually it'll trickle drain out. It'll take about an hour. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and continue with the oil change with the filter here. We're gonna replace that filter. We've already replaced the O-ring, so we're good to go. We've already oiled that. Now we're just gonna put the paper filter in. Make it seated in there. And then this goes right over that. Make sure you don't cross thread this. I just hand tighten that, and that's usually, good enough. All right, I'm just gonna, I loosen this up, and I'm actually gonna torque it down to 19 foot-pounds. So it's already clicking. It doesn't take much, but that's the correct torque spec for this cap. All right, so we've gone ahead, we've replaced the oil filter. The next step would be, right now, I'm gonna lift the car up and jack the car up again so that I can get access to the drain plug. It's been over an hour, so it should have drained pretty much all the way through. And I'll put the drain plug back in, and then I'll continue to fill the car with oil. All right, as you can see, there's still some dripping coming out. This oil was actually pretty black. So it was definitely time for a change. The other thing I noticed is when I lifted the car up, you see I jacked the car up over there on the jack point, more oil started coming out. So that's why it's, even though it's been an hour, it's still kind of dripping. It's just very slight, but it's because I think the car's tilted to that side. So I just let it drain for another 20 minutes. It's been doing that for a while. But I think, there should be enough, and I'm gonna go ahead and put in the drain plug. Now, as I talked about earlier, with the drain plug, you want to remove this old crush washer. And you can see that it's indented. I don't know if you can tell, but there's an indent. So that's used. This one's gonna be totally flat, and it'll, I guess once it gets crushed, it'll look just like that other one. So I've already gone ahead and I've cleaned this all up. So we're gonna go ahead and start installing this. Now this needs to go to 39 foot-pounds. So we're gonna use our torque wrench, and we're gonna set it to 39 foot-pounds. So with this, we look at the 0, and then when it gets to that little hash mark, it's at 30, one right below. So when it's centered, that's 30 right there. The little bottom of that little hash mark is, so 50 is that little part right down there. So right now we're at 30. So then for this, you pull down on this to unlock it. And then we're gonna give it another rotation, and we're gonna get to 40. So when it gets to 0, it's zeroed out, it's 40. So right there, we're at 40. As you can see the 40 there. But we need 39. So we're gonna go back so the 9 is there. You see that 9? It's where that is, right underneath the 40. So we're not at 40, we're at 39. And that's how we get our foot-pounds. So we're gonna go ahead and insert this here. All right. So we just tightened it, and when you hear the click, it's done. It's 39 foot-pounds, and we're done. You can back this out, clean it off, clean the bottom of this, and now the most important step. Well, this is the most important step, but definitely now we're gonna have to fill it up with oil. We're gonna start with 7 quarts. This is a Carrera 4, so this is a 3.6 liter. All right, so we're gonna start to refill the oil now. Pull this out all the way and just grab a funnel. All right, so I'm gonna start with a 5-quart jug of a 0W40 Mobil 1. All right, so I'm going to take about 2 quarts from this bottle. All right, so now we have put 7 quarts of oil into the engine right now, but what we're going to have to do is just run it so the engine can cycle throughout, you know, the whole motor, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a reading in the car, and then we're going to add, supposedly it's about 0.9 quarts. We don't want to overfill it, so we'll just keep taking those. You know, we got to drive the car to get it up to temperature. Once it's up to temperature, then we can, you know, we can take the reading. And when we take the reading, then we'll actually just gradually add the 0.9 quarts of oil. All right, so after going for a drive, you're gonna go ahead and just check the oil level. It's up to temperature. It's above 150 degrees up here. So we're gonna go ahead and go through the menus, check the oil, and then we're gonna wait the 35 seconds or so that it takes to see kind of where the oil level's at currently. So the oil level is low, so that's fine, that's normal. And now we're going to shut the car off, and we're going to start adding probably a half a quart at a time until we get that level up. All right, so in this 5-quart jug, we got probably a quart and a half. So we're going to start probably getting to somewhere around that line to put in the half, and then we'll go from there. So we got a little bit over half. Okay, so once again, we're going to start the car. We're going to go to the oil level. We haven't reset the service now light yet. We'll do that after, once we're done. So we're going to go to oil. So it's going to take about a minute to get that reading now. All right, so it's a little higher. So we're probably going to try to add another half a quart, or somewhere around a quarter to half a quart. All right, so this is me after adding another half. All right, that level has to be at that, not all the way to the top, but just right where that arrow is. So this is perfect. That's where it's supposed to be. If it goes any higher, then it's probably overfilled. So the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna, I guess, turn the car off. I'm gonna use my programmer OBD2 scanner on iCarSoft in order to reset the service engine indicator. All right, so we're gonna take the scanner, take that other end of it, and that's gonna connect right down there to that port. So once it's connected, it'll start talking to the computer. The car is like on the on position. All right, so we're gonna go to diagnose. We're gonna go to Porsche, hit OK. Now we're gonna go to oil lamp reset, hit OK. It says, please wait. Okay, so it says switch ignition to on, which it already is on, so I'm gonna hit OK. So we're going to do software reset. Automatic scan. Hit OK. Communicating, please wait. Model year is to 2010, so it's going to be greater than 2009, or equal to 2009. We're going to hit OK. We're going to hit OK for this, USA, other areas. We're going to do miles. Input date, so it's the year, the month, and the day. So we're going to hit OK. So the year right now, so OK. We're going to go to done, and then we're going to hit OK. Communicating, please wait. So the lights just went off and everything kind of changed. It says coding was changed. We're gonna hit OK. Now, it'll give you some messages like driver's off assist failure, things like that. That'll all kind of go back to normal once you turn the car off and on. So what we'll do now is we're gonna turn the car off. Take the key out, open the door. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna disconnect the OBD2 scanner. Back in the car, key in the ignition. Turn the car on. So now what we're gonna want is, my rear tires are a little low on air. Go to the info, see if there's any service messages. And it'll say service in 10,000 miles or 365 days. So, the oil light's been reset and I won't have to do this for another 10,000 miles. I'm at 58,000 miles right now, so at 68,000 miles, whichever comes first. I usually, since I don't drive it that much, I usually change it every, every 2 years. But because I don't ever get to 10,000 miles. I guess if you want to, you could change it every 365 days, but otherwise you could just reset it. All right, that's gonna call it. It's gonna be it for the oil change for today. I hope that this video has been informative for you and that's helped you out. And the dealership cost, they'll charge you around $380 to $400 for this oil change. The oil, will probably cost you around $70. Filter probably another 10 to 15. Sometimes, you can get a free filter included with the oil, like, when I bought my oil. I usually like to stick with the OEM, so most likely next time around, I'll just order the Mahle, M-A-H-L-E, I think is the brand. That's the OEM brand, so I'll probably order that next time around. But remember, you need the crush sleeve, the aluminum crush sleeve for the drain plug, and you need the O-ring for the oil filter, that seal. So you're gonna need that as far as parts, and obviously the filters. So it's a pretty easy thing to do. It'll take you a little while. You'll need the programmer. The programmer is a must because you can't reset that light otherwise. The programmer, I'll put a link in the description, is $100 or 100 and something, but it's worth it. It'll pay for itself. really in the first oil change, it'll pay for itself. And you can use it as an OBD2 scanner to scan for codes. You know, a couple other things that you can reset with it. I think the brake indicators you can reset with it also. So it's worth it. Well, you know, thank you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and select all, so you'll get all my notifications for, you know, for all my videos when I post them up. But I just want to thank you for watching. Take care.